On January 9, 2024, Dr. Anthony Fauci admitted during congressional testimony that the 6-foot social distancing mandate, quote, sort of just appeared, end quote.
Dr. Anthony Fauci now admitting social distancing wasn't based on science. Fauci telling a House committee this week the idea, standing 6 feet apart, quote, just sort of appeared. The shocking admission comes nearly 4 years after statements like this.
Every aspect of that ending the COVID outbreak in 30 days has some aspect of it of physical separation, whether that's avoiding crowds, whether that's staying 6 feet away from people, whether that's doing teleworking, all of it does that.
Dr. Fauci also forced Americans to wear masks after admitting that they don't work.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
And remember when he said that the COVID vaccine would stop you from getting infected?
The situation is so clear, the data affirm, if you get vaccinated, you are protected, even with the Delta variant.
And while voices of dissent were silenced, a Republican president and a Democratic president and their political parties and their members of Congress made the same choice to hand the keys of our nation over to Dr. Fauci. Then they stood by and watched as he destroyed our schools, our churches, our businesses, and our economy. Under their watch, we ended up having the highest death rate from COVID in the world. Throughout the pandemic, I was posting scientific evidence and warning that Dr. Fauci was wrong about many of these issues. And to silence that criticism, government officials and their allies in the media branded me as a conspiracy theorist and deplatformed me and heavily censored me both in the mainstream and social media.
This week, some of the biggest names in the anti-vax movement descended on D.C. for a rally to protest vaccine mandates.
And now Dr. Fauci is finally admitting that the Wuhan lab leak is not, after all, a conspiracy theory.
The most likely origin is a jumping of species. I still do think it is, at the same time as I'm keeping an open mind that it might be a lab leak.
Of course, I already knew this because I literally wrote the book on this incident. So the next time that the going gets rough, who do you want to have the power? We the people or the two political parties that got almost everything wrong?